Hi, I'm Jason Walker. This is Walker Tea Review. Today we have for you for your consideration, we have a Japanese green tea from Adagio. They are simply labeling this Gyokuro, and so we are going to get some ready for us to look at. We're going to be talking about what we should expect, what we can expect from a Japanese green. I'm going to steep this for a shorter period, so I'm going to add a little bit more so we can get a full range of color. Yeah, that looks good. Let me go ahead and spread some out here as well. Delicate stuff, this Japanese green tea. So set this aside. Let me start this up. We're not going to have much time to let this sit. We need to take it away fairly soon, because Japanese green teas, especially something like this, they tend to steep. They tend to be quite delicate, want lower water temperatures. Without that, they can become bitter quite quickly. They can be easier to ruin or mess up. So we want to talk a little bit about this. Before we do a little bit of background, yes, it is a Japanese green. Let me go ahead and put the package up here so that you can look at it. Simply Adagio's Gyokuro. Steeping instructions, let me hold this up for a second. Yes, 180 degrees, a steep time of 3 minutes. You want to experiment with that as always. Tell me what you think, what comes out. So let me go ahead and make a few notes or make a few comments here. This particular sample size is $8. A lot of Adagio's sample sizes are $4. Because this is a bit of a more complex tea, a little bit higher quality, that would help me understand why it is a little bit of a higher price. This one has been shaded. This is a green tea that's actually been put in the shade. Ooh, that's almost the right color. Been put in the shade about 3 weeks prior to harvest. What happens is that these are often, as these are picked, then they are usually steamed and going through a rolling process so that you get very fine, delicate pieces and leaf, almost needle-like shape. So let me, yes, I think we can work with this. I don't want to go too far, too long. Some things that we are going to expect from the Gyokuro. You're going to expect a greenish color of your liquid, a brighter green. You are going to expect an aroma. What we're looking for is a kind of aroma that is slightly sweet. It has a bit of a steamed or a creamed spinach aroma to it. You are looking for a little bit of a marine or seaweed element in the taste as well. Of course, you don't want it to be too strong that you feel like you're drinking like pressed fish juice, but there is that that sea vegetation element to it. Third, what else are we going to look for? We want to be able to steep it properly so that it has a creamy feel in the mouth. You don't want it. It shouldn't be bitter. If you've steeped it too long, then it can increase the chances of it being too bitter. A good tea steeped at the right time is not bitter. Let me set this out of the way so I don't scald myself. So, yes, creamy, smooth, almost buttery feeling in your mouth. Let's zoom down and look at our leaves for a moment. As we see here, we have, because of the way the leaf is processed, you have some quite dark, and because these leaves are covered for about 3 weeks on the tea plant or the tea bush before harvest, they're going to be a darker color, and then the way they are protected or the way they're processed retains that dark, rich color. And that's what we have here. You will see that you have you can have pieces that are, well, I just destroyed that one. You can have pieces that are a little bit longer. Here's one that's a little bit over 1/2 inch. But then you also have some very fine pieces, particles as well. Okay. This is the kind of tea, if you don't like if you're concerned about having little bits like that, you want to be able to filter it well. A Japanese teapot does have a fairly fine filter included in it to retain these so that you're not getting them in your cup. Of course, if you do not have that kind of teapot, you can often let your leaves cool, and or I should say settle rather, and as they settle, if you will slowly drink, you'll prevent a lot of that from going in, from ingesting that into your mouth. Taking it into your mouth, I should say. But having talked about all that, let's look at our color, because I said that's one of the characteristics of this tea compared with a lot of your Chinese greens, is that you are getting a greener color, brighter green. Because this one is fine, because this is the kind of teas, this is very close to the kinds of teas that are ground into the matchas and the tea powders. You are seeing some delicate powders in there. These teas are easy to, as you see, shatter, break, crumble. But so clarity, it is a little cloudy, and it is a rich green color. So we're now ready. I'm already picking up a heavy element of that kind of a blend of a creamy spinach element to it. So that is a good sign. We want to see what else comes out. We're going to blow on the teas. We're going to let air get onto the tea. That's another reason why we use the wine glass. It allows the light to come in so that you can see it. It also allows more air to come in and release aromas. Yeah. Now, this time, this particular steeping, I could have gone a little bit lighter on the water temperature. I think that would have released more of the creamy. The creamy was there in previous tastings that I've had with this. You can get a creamier note to come out of it. With this particular steeping, I did pick up some of that that marine, that seaweed element. It was light. It was not overpowering. It still balanced well. The creaminess, as we said, it does fill the mouth, and it is quite rewarding. It makes it a smooth sensation in your mouth. So yeah, that's a welcome element. Again, a little, if I had done this, I could, if with better control, you can, with a timer, with a thermometer, you can bring it so that you are getting a less bitter element to it. So, my notes of this time and previous times, I'm going to have to give this an 89 because it does have quite a bit of a profile to it. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that seaweed element combined that carries with the creamy, the spinach, the less bitter. I'm getting all of them, but they're at different stages in the steeping. It's not that I'm getting all the right things together at the right time and in the right place. So the other thing you want to note about this kind of tea, you are going to be challenged to get more than 3 good steepings out of it. 2 is average, 3 if you really are sensitive and aware of how to bring out the best in this tea. So 89, we could have seen the full range together in the right package. I'm Jason Walker. We've just looked at Adagio.Gyokuro, and this is Walker Tea Review.